Stu, you've played so many great things. Pick out one little lick. Boy, you
There's
hit one
one
a while ago there.
I'll tell you, there's one, and you can talk to, we'll mention Lloyd Green's name, but he did a song called The Bridge Washed Out.
Oh, yeah.
You remember that?
Absolutely.
And he had that, and he will tell you, admit to him, that I always did that. But this part of it caught his ear, and because of that, he did The Bridge Washed Out with Warner Mac. So I'll take credit for that lick for encouraging him to do that.
That was one of my favorite records.
And
you,
fine? And he
you
played.
helped put something together on it.
That's it. And
Lloyd Green.
Yeah, didn't even know it. And he told me that he liked doing that half slide down like
that. Is cool. Have anything else that you'd like to share with the guys?
There's a thing
they're all looking for any little thing.
I don't really do. I like to do a thing. I like to move. I don't have any of the up levers, but we did a thing like on Faded Love on the picking on shot.
Yeah. Yeah.
And the same thing.
Yeah.
And that's and on through that, but I was.
So little bitty things that make the difference in it.
Everybody has their own little style, and that's so wonderful. That's why we can get together and each of us enjoy the others playing, because everybody has something special.
Yeah, and it's so nice, especially when somebody shows me something. You know, I play my stuff till I am just wore out with it, and then I find a little something new from somebody else, and I'll wear that out for no telling how long before.
Well, I've got to admit, I've stolen licks from you too. One of the things is the lowering of the 10th string. I mean,
you got it on a pedal, don't you?
I've got it on a pedal instead of tuning it down. It's
and that's I'd love to hear you do it. If you would not mind playing that Set 'em Up Joe.
Yes.
One of the most wonderful.
The story about this was when I found this deal. That's why I tuned it down. Diane Sherrill was working for me in Printer's Alley, and they wanted to do Sunday Morning Coming Down. And I told Cliff Parker, I said, tune that string down and do that ba-da-da-da-dum-bum. And he wouldn't do it. So I tuned my string down, and we started playing Sunday Morning Coming da-da-da-da-dum-bum-bum. And then I started finding things to do with it, and I showed it to 2 or 3 of my buddies that I knew were doing big sessions, and I said, would you just put my lick on a record? I know that y'all are going to be doing records, and I ain't doing no big records. I'm doing a lot of little demo sessions, but I showed it to Pete and Jimmy and maybe Buddy, and nobody just got around to doing it. So the first chance that I had to really do a big record session was with Johnny Paycheck and Billy Sherrill, and of course old Sherrill heard most all of it, you know, but he hadn't heard that, and I just took a chance and tuned it down. Didn't know exactly what I would use it on, but we was working up a record in the studio called Slide Off Your Satin Sheets, and wore him out, and then I come back and put that in after the sort of put that into the thing. So that was the first time I had to use that.
Well, it's a big sound.
That is. That's wonderful.
And so I let her lay for about 10 years. And then we were in one day, and we was working on a song called Set 'em Up Joe, and the guitar player had tuned the string down and was donka-donka-donking, and Bob Montgomery said, I'm not happy with that. Said, if you'll just put something with it. And I labored for about an hour trying to put something with that, and I could not come up with nothing to go with the guitar that was playing the intro. He told us, said, take the guitar off. He said, Vest, play me something. Said, play me a Vest lick. And he said, see if we can't get this out of the way and move on to the next song. So I was fooling with that string down, and that's how I come up with the Set 'em Up Joe thing. After I got it sort of put together, I played it one time, and it wasn't just quite what I thought I wanted to play. So I laid it on there, and old Bob just come unglued. And I said, no, let me have it one more time. He said, you will never play that intro again. No. Yeah. So anyway, the intro was one pickup note, and I wanted to play two, but I got the 2 in on or 3 in on the turnaround. Got that in on the turnaround. Yeah. But he wouldn't let me play the intro again, so that was why the intro and the turnaround have just got those 2 different notes in it. But it's been real good for me because it's sort of a signature lick.
Not to stray off of what you played, but could you tell us what kind of guitar and what amp you used?
At that time, I was playing a Showbud guitar that had a bear in the front of it, and in mother of pearl, and then I had a Showbud amp that matched it. It didn't have no cover like that on it. It was wood, and it had bears in each end of it, and my initials, like were on the neck, were on top of the amp. I've still got that amp and that steel guitar upstairs in the attic. I hope that they're both okay, because I intend to, put them someplace where people can look at them before it's all over with. There's a neat, matter of fact, the chassis that's in that amp was the one that Shot Jackson's boy brought up to Printer's Alley, and it would just be a chassis board, and I was playing what was those big old amps that had the colors like this on them?
Custom,
yeah. Which had a head and speakers.
Yeah.
So he'd go up and just unplug my deal out of the back of my head, and he'd plug into this chassis, and I would play, and he had switches on the back that sound like a Fender, sound like a whatever. And you move this switch, and we just had all kind of switches on the thing. And when he built mine, he put that chassis in my amp upstairs. So mine was the prototype that they worked on, and it's just a handmade chassis. But it's in that beautiful, case, Of course, I proceeded to beat it up pretty good, like I do all my amps.
Yeah, they get that way.
I figured knock a knot on one when you get a brand new one right off the bat, and then you don't
have to worry about it again.
Right. But anyway, isn't this fun, guys?
It is.
I love it.
We saw you guys were here
time.
with us, and sooner or later we're going to bring you every steel player that you like, some that you don't know, and some that are just burning it up that you don't know about. And you're gonna really have a good time with this video. See you guys in just a minute. We'll be right back.